Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Calimesa City Council, Monday, October 16th. Yaza, you want to call the roll call, please?
Councilmember Cervantes?
Here.
Councilmember Manley?
We'll excuse him. He's still in classes up north.
Okay. Councilmember Molina?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hewitt?
Here.
And Mayor Davis.
I'm here. And then we've got City Manager Cobo, City Attorney Barrow, Deputy City Clerk Miss Benson, Finance Director Reed, Planning Director Lucia, Public Works Director Monson, City Engineer Thornton, Fire Chief O'Connell, and Sheriff Captain Peterson. Ms. Monson, since you're looking so grumpy over there, I'm going to have you start us in the flag salute, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, communications from the public. That's, if you have anything to speak about that isn't on the agenda, you write the little thing and turn it in. I know it. And then, you know, you can get up and you have 3 minutes to tell us what you want to tell us. Okay. Donna?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, I'm sure. I'm Donna Johnson, and I'm the president of GSMOL, Chapter 42, the Californian, over on California, that mobile home park, the Mobile Home Estates, LP. And my vice president and secretary and some of our members are back here with me. Our concern is that our park sold. We have a new owner, we have new management. They are talking about raising the rent, and there's a rent stabilization here in Calimesa, and I would like to ask you, is that going to hold up?
Ask us what? No.
If the rent stabilization, if the rent control will hold up with the new owner.
It has in the past, so I don't know what's going to change.
Well, we don't know. We understand that he's quite influential and aggressive.
With who?
Well, with whomever he needs to be.
Yep. So Mayor,
No, go ahead.
Mayor, since this is not on the agenda.
Not on the agenda, I can't really talk about it. So.
Yeah, you should talk to staff.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, at least we're
Yeah.
making you aware that we're afraid that the seniors are going to be on the street.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bruce Dickerson?
So I am actually here to talk about item 8. Is that, can I talk about it with public comments, or?
You can
Should I-
talk about it now or not talk about it then.
Okay, I guess I'll talk about it now, if that's okay.
That's fine.
I'm the one property owner who had the parcel removed on Douglas Street. One of the only of the 36 parcels. And I certainly understand the residences that were speaking, some of them horse owners. The property is zoned for 20,000 square feet. It has not made economic sense to develop it with the cost of the infrastructure. I do know that even at 20,000 square feet, if we ended up having better times to when houses were even selling for more, all we're going to end up with is a lot that's large, that has a large home on it, that's expensive, and there's not going to be horses on a 20,000 square foot lot. It's not in keeping with really the horse property, promoting horses in that area, just because there's no room for a house and a corral and horses on a lot that small. Most of the residences that were speaking at that have much larger lots. Right now, you have a zoning that allows for 7,200 square foot minimum lots west of Bryant Street. When you go east of Bryant Street, it changes to half acre. To me, that seems that like there should be some kind of a transition zoning in between 7,200 square feet and half acre. And a 10,000 square foot lot minimum would be something that I think would be desirable for the city. You also had a lot of residences that came and spoke at the meeting, your last meeting, that can't afford housing, can't afford apartments. And so you do have that element, some that grew up here in Calimesa and are looking for more affordable housing and not the large homes whenever the market might warrant it on half-acre lots. And so I would encourage you first, if possible, to re-include my property into the housing element, and I would be willing to have it where it would be limited to 10,000 square foot lots at a maximum, and have a maximum of 36 homes on what amounts to almost 11 acres with the two parcels, and single-story houses fronting on Douglas Street. And if I urge you to consider that, if that's at all possible, to have that go back in. And if not, at the very least, please, at the next time you have a general plan amendment, to look at considering having this transitional zoning in between 7,200 square feet and half-acre lots.
Okay, thank you, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Consent calendar and waiver of full reading of ordinances. Anybody got anything in there?
Mr. Mayor, I would recommend that we pull item 1, the minutes from the last meeting, to reflect a correction.
Sure.
I'll make the motion if no one has any objections to approve the agenda and the consent calendar excluding item number 1 on the consent calendar for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that's a plus. Okay. Consent calendar items 1 through 6. Will, you want to talk about 1?
Yes. So on the dais is a copy of the corrected minutes. It's for anybody watching or looking at the agenda packet for today. It's page 8 of 11 from the regular meeting of October 2nd, 2023. The vote for resolution number 2023-61 was reflected as a 5-0 vote in the minutes. However, it should be reflected, and the revised copy reflects the correct vote, which is a 3-0 vote with the mayor and Councilmember Manley recusing. So
Thank
we
you.
recommend approval with that correction.
Get a motion?
I'll make the motion as stated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Sheriff Captain, comments and reports, sir.
Thanks for having me. For the city, the last big month, I will say, as I have mentioned before, that I track kind of the big crime for us of thefts or assaults or nuisance crimes. The numbers were down for us, so I was happy to see it. And as I balanced that against the metrics of the response times for the guys and lone gal that I have at the station, we picked up a little bit and we're a little bit faster. So all of that, I will say, the policing metrics were very good. For an education piece, I will openly let all of you know, I spent a good amount of the past month in dealing with Ukaipa, Calimesa superintendent school world stuff. School was starting back up. I knew there was a piece of me getting together with Principal Pearson to talk about some of the strategies for our response in, I hate to say it, as youth, and this is what we dealt with and prompted her and I meeting face to face the other day. As kids at that age think that they can just openly say, hey, I'm going to bring a gun or any kind of violent act in the school arena, it enacts a protocol for all law enforcement now. And as I've kind of mentioned before, as I see us, as often mental health counselors, homeless decision makers, and a wide variety of other things, the school world puts on us the, I will say, practice of, if those things happen at the school, we go and not only have to detain your student, but then go to your house, search your house, make sure there's no guns there. Often, sometimes taking weapons and things like that if a threat proves legitimate. This particular one did not, but sadly, when the students do these kind of things, it enacts that protocol for us. And that's pretty standard law enforcement across the region because of our, obviously, stance against school violence and those kind of things. But it always saddens me in the respect of landing in a parent's home and that shocked of, I'm not expecting, number one, to get a call from the school that my son said those threats. Often son, I'll say. We have daughters too occasionally. But then us landing there and going through your home and doing all the things that nobody likes, having the police obviously enter their home, and especially when it has to do with weapons and those kind of things. And so that education piece, as Principal Pearson and I were talking about, kind of navigating and assisting in some of that, and me and my crew making some, I will say, a stronger presence at the middle school, and quite frankly, some more engagement with the students and some education pieces on, I can't tell you how big a problem it becomes for you, focus as a kid, but more importantly for your parents, when now we land in mass, obviously, because we're dealing with weapons, and we go through your home. And so she liked that plan. She and I had a very good meeting over some of that, and her staff, and some of those pieces to follow. And so expect that more to come as I move forward, just in some of those parts of connecting more with the middle school and, quite frankly, with the kids, because those pieces that they don't necessarily think is an empty threat because of our world. And I often say we are the hammer in the toolbox, and I don't necessarily like the fact that we're the hammer, even though a lot of us is expected of us. The hammer isn't necessarily always the right tool, obviously. And so those pieces, if I can avoid sending a cadre of cops to our residents' homes for us searching for weapons, often taking weapons, they're difficult to get back if it is because of Junior saying something they shouldn't have at school. It was a campaign that she and I talked about, of me trying to get some more into the school system with the kids at this age. So expect that. That really is the main thing I have. Any questions of me or anything else? Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Doesn't that also extend to the school campus and lockdowns, which is a big imposition for parents if they have to come and get their kids out
Yeah,
of school?
of course, very much so.
That's another issue.
It really does. It
Safety
enacts
of
some
all the
protocols for us that are safety-driven, yet the nuisance piece for the parents, you're right. The phone goes off constantly over it, when I always think back to the reality of, if your kid wouldn't have just said that, or navigated their feelings differently than going to a level of, well, I'm going to shoot up the school. It's the worst thing they could possibly say, obviously. I hate to say it. And getting more of that, more often, the home discipline matters, and the home caretaking matters that would avert some of those things, absolutely. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Just one
Councilwoman.
question.
Yeah.
About a week ago, I noticed that there was a couple cops on Calimesa Boulevard across from I think it's the Montessori school or
Okay.
church.
Okay.
They had the boulevard blocked off for a little bit. I didn't hear anything that happened, but do you know what happened there? Or?
Nothing stands out, Councilwoman. I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure. Yeah, nothing stands out.
I didn't see any accidents
No,
or
I agree.
anything, so I don't
Nothing
know
stands out in that area of where you're talking about. I know right where you're saying with the school and everything, but no, nothing stands out. We don't have our giant holding tank that was parked
Yeah,
there,
no, if
obviously,
it
and
was
some of those
something
other
big,
things.
I'm
Thank
sure we
goodness.
would
I
have
agree,
heard
I
something,
agree, yeah. I don't. I'll have to find out, though.
Okay, thank you.
If nothing else, that's all I have.
Nothing. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Fire Chief, your turn in the hat here.
They're all with Tony tonight. Evening, councilmen, our members. Last report to council, we were 10% down as we ran the year. We're 10% down on our calls, but the folks have been busy, and we've made up that 10% within probably the last 4 to 6 weeks. Our call volume's even with where we were last year at a total number of calls of 1,377 year-to-date. So we were trending down, and all of a sudden, things picked back up, which means I think they're getting up at night. 68% of those for 946 calls for service are medical aids. We had about 280 miscellaneous calls for public assistance, which is usually folks falling out of bed or needing some assistance up. So that accounts for 1,226 calls for about 89% of our calls. I've had 38 fires, fire responses year to date, and we've responded about 74 times to our neighbors for about 10% of our call volume. So folks are staying busy. Our call response time average is pushing 6 minutes and 59 seconds, and we'd like to be down around the 6-minute mark.
Yeah.
But we're doing what we can. Goings on with the department, we're continuing to outfit Truck 1 and get the folks trained on it. We have the factory reps coming out next week to put all of our captains and our driver operator engineers through training and go through the maintenance on that, and we're days away from putting the water tender in service. We're finalizing our operating agreements and working arrangements for our ALS transition, and I hope to have something positive to close the loop on that by our next council meeting. And lastly, I'd like to mention that even though we've been in a low fire activity year, we've had a lot of moisture. The relative humidity is down. Temperatures are hot and dry, and I'd like to remind folks to be fire safe. Historically in California, in the months of October and November have been some of the most devastating fires we've ever experienced. And with that, I'll conclude my report pending any questions.
Any questions? No, I would, as long as the men are here, I would like to compliment you on your presence at the State of the City as far as with all your apparatus and everything else. You guys were very impressive.
Thanks, and I'd like to take the opportunity. That wasn't me, Mayor.
No,
That's the folks.
That's what I'm talking over there.
And that's what I want to say. Those engines looked spectacular. They
Yeah.
were parade ready, and the folks put a lot of work into that all week.
Yeah.
And I was very proud for what they did for us. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, we get Calimesa Chamber of Commerce reports. Mr. Tony.
Well, good evening, council. Thank you for the time allowing us to share what's going on with the Calimesa Chamber. Last week we had our monthly breakfast. It was well attended. It was our guest speaker was Riverside County District Attorney Michael Cabral. He shared with us some of the concerns that the Riverside County District Attorney is working on, and then some of the newer programs that they have started, like the victim recovery programs and so forth. So it was quite informative. Just to let you guys know, the #1 drug killer in the U.S. is fentanyl, and we need to put a stop to that. So allow those guys to prosecute the way they need to. Recent events, of course, the Calimesa Chamber of Commerce would like to thank the city for their partnership in hosting the recent State of the City Community Fair. It was well attended considering the heat. I got to be in my Lions booth for most of the day, so missed out on some of the festivities over at the podcast. But it was, I had a good time personally, so if I had a good time, everybody did, right?
Right.
So, yeah. And then the Calimesa Chamber attended the grand opening this past Friday for Downright Brewed. over there at 950 Calimesa Boulevard. Several of the council were there and city for the support, and we just thank you for that, supporting the new businesses that step into the realm of Calimesa in our community to help provide service to our community. We are very happy to have members from the city. Oh, I already did that. Okay. Anyways, okay, so upcoming events. Saturday, October 21st, coming Saturday, we are hosting the annual Night at the Races fundraiser at the plantation on the lake. That is video horse racing, and all the proceeds go to the scholarship fund for the Calimesa Chamber. As you're aware, last year we gave away $9,000 worth of scholarships, actually this year, for students that were graduating this year. And so we'd like to be able to do that again. And we can't do that without these fundraising events. So we still have tickets available for purchase on our website, and you can call the chamber office and give your RSVP to Don A, and then pay at the door of the event. It'll be $40, which includes dinner, and dinner will be prepared by Woody's Barbecue. Yes, Woody's Barbecue is still out there.
Yeah, it is.
And so they're going to be providing the food for that. You'll get, with the $40, you get the dinner. You get $100 worth of what Donna says funny money. I call it betting script. And then you get a drink ticket and 3 raffle tickets. We have a ton of raffle prizes. We'll be giving away, I know for a fact we'll be giving away a bottle of bourbon, and we will be giving away a raffle prize of a stack of a whole bunch of different games. You know, instead of the kids playing games on their phone, they can actually play a real game, you know, a board game. There will be a cornhole with a lighted system and everything that'll be given away. So plenty of raffle prizes that are going to be auctioned off. So the trick to the game, if you guys come to the night of the races, you get $100 worth of script. There's 10 horses in every race, so bet $1 on every horse, you're going to win. So, and that's the key, you win, because your raffle ticket goes in for those raffle prizes. Okay, there's my pitch for that. We're now accepting parade entries for the annual Get Your Lights On Christmas Parade. Get Your Lights On Calimesa Christmas Parade. That'll be held on December 2nd this year. Yes, the Calimesa Boulevard will be closed off from about 3:30 in the afternoon till about 7 at night. The staging area will be in the same area over by Avenue K and the new Downright Brood. And then the parade will end at Myrtlewood as normal. So we're looking forward to the community coming out and supporting that. And if you want to be a part of the parade, just contact the chamber and let them know what kind of vehicle or whatever you're going to be in. It's just you have to have lights on it, okay? And new members this year, this month we have 3 new members. We had 11 members with the renewals and a total membership of 148. Any questions about the chamber? No? Been busy, yes. The chamber is busy. So I'm going to segue, if you don't mind, into the next step. This is why these fine gentlemen here and young lady are back here. They're actually in support of the Christmas Toy Drive. Christmas Toy Drive is going to kick off on October 30th. It'll go through December 13th, and it will culminate on December 13th with the night of giving at the Mesa Verde, or is it Mesa View or Mesa Verde? Mesa View Middle School on Mustang Way. Let's see, I got some notes here. So we will have 20 plus collection points throughout the city collecting toys for the toy drive. We are going to have 2 pop-ups events with the fire department there. So you know, come drop off your toys, you'll be able to touch the truck, that kind of thing, meet some of these guys, these fine men. The first one's going to be at the Fire Rock and Brews in the parking lot in front of them. And then the other one will be possibly a Tractor Supply. We're looking at setting up dates and times, and we'll get everybody involved and letting know. Michelle, do we have those dates and times yet, or no? Not set in stone. So when they're set in stone, we'll be making everybody aware of it. And then, so on the 13th, the actual event, we're going to start setting up at 1 o'clock because we kind of ran long setting up all the toys last year. And then the doors are going to open at 5, and the giveaway of the toys will start at 6 p.m. We're looking for new unwrapped toys, no candy and food. And then we will take gift cards to stores or restaurants, and any monetary donations help. Because what happened, as an example, last year we had quite a few monetary donations, and we were able to go out and buy some really special toys, and then get some. We gave away a ton of gift cards for food establishments like Stater Brothers and so forth. So, just these guys are great. It's the Calimesa Professional Firefighters Association, the fire department, and the city. You guys do a great job with this toy drive. I'm just the guy who would stand up here and talk to you about it. So they did a wonderful job last year, and we expect to exceed that this year. So that's all I have on that. Anything I'm missing? All right. So any questions on the toy drive?
Well, if you're slumming, you can wander by my place. I might find a check for you.
All right. I'll do that.
Okay.
I know the treasurer for the Professional Firefighters Association. He'll be happy for me to hand it to him.
Oh, this is for your night of the races. The toy
Oh.
drive, I will.
Oh, I'm going to get there this week then.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
I always give for the toys.
okay. So, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Business items. Calimesa Breakfast Lions Club beautification project. Now, who's going to start this off? Will?
Actually, I'm going to hand it off to Madi Shakir, our associate engineer, who will present the item first on behalf of staff.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. So the Calimesa Breakfast Lions Club has approached city staff about their desire to beautify the Myrtlewood median. This is the median that is the east side of the Calimesa Myrtlewood intersection. So behind you and on those posters, and I think you have printouts as well of the plans that the Lions Club is proposing. So it includes metal plants, boulders, and rocks. The Lions Club would be doing the installation as well as purchasing the materials, and they're requesting of the city to provide traffic control during installation as well as ongoing maintenance for this. Yeah, I think if you have any questions about this project, I think we're just looking for some direction from council, but Tony is here. I'm here to
Maintenance, yeah, maintenance is going to be supplied by them or the city?
by the city. Mhm.
Okay.
So just to be clear, we'll actually be monthly doing a cleanup and dress up of the medians on a regular basis. We'll be doing that portion of it, cleaning up any trash or fallen palm tree fronds, that kind of stuff. Keep it cleaned up that way. The maintenance part of it that she's mentioning is if someone decides they like those plants, and then we need to get Sheriff Peterson involved, or we have some. We are planning on putting some large decorative stones, boulders, along with that in there. If someone runs into that and knocks it into the street, it would be helpful for to get maybe some city equipment to get it back, if it can be used back into its place. That's the kind of maintenance that this is what we're looking at.
Okay.
It's DE ground cover, and some decorative, very, I guess when you think of metal plants, they basically don't need any water or anything to grow. And 30 years from now, they're going to be looking the same, maybe a little discolored from the sun, but they're higher quality, decorated plants. And if you want to think about it, we got the idea from the median on the way out to Hemet that they did, where they did the stones and the same type of plant stuff. It's just something for the Calimesa Breakfast Lions Club wants to give back to the community. We felt that it was a good project for us to do that and get the community to support it along with the city council. Thank you.
You guys want to give the go-ahead with this? Or is there any questions?
I'm proud to be a Lion. And one of the things, we've been planning this for a couple of years now, but one of the things that's important to us is that we're bringing some beauty to the older part of the city, And so we are happy about that. You know, we don't have any new construction, but this will beautify the older part of the city. And so that's important to us, and we look forward to beautifying that part of the city.
Anybody?
And just, if I can, just make one other thing clear, that there are electrical boxes on that median, and a couple of them have been destroyed. So our Lions Club is not equipped to repair or replace those electrical boxes. So that would be something we would ask the city to also take charge of. If you want them repaired. If you're not, just take them out. There's nobody using them.
The material that these plants are made out of, what is it?
It's made out of metal, so it's a...
What kind of metal? You actually have something? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's right at the bottom.
There's some photos in here.
But it doesn't say.
It doesn't say what kind of metal.
It doesn't say what kind of metal.
Is it Core-10, something like that rusts and stays that way the whole time? Or is it
So
painted?
they will start a patina to them. They do get, over time, they do get a different patina. So they'll start off in a bronze and colored fashion, and then they will change color as they wear. So, but what I've seen of the ones in Hemet, they've been there for several years now, and they still look very good. And like I said, we're going to maintain them. So we'll go through if there's debris in them, or they start to get dirt or whatever on them. We'll be maintaining them to keep them at as best looking as possible.
Do you have a problem with this, Ms. Monson?
No, actually, this has been worked through as far as our traffic control abilities and whether or not we'll be able to set that up and take it down, during the construction portion of it. And as far as the, replacement of the plants, if they get torn out, then we'll have to deal with that at that time. Or, if there's an accident or something
Yeah.
like that, then, we'll have to deal with that.
Okay, I just wanted the blessing of the hard-working staff.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody?
No.
You want to approve this?
No objections, I'll make the recommendation if
Okay,
it's okay.
I know what you want. So,
I recommend that the city council provide staff with direction for, is this the one? No.
That's the correct one. We're
That's the
just,
correct
yeah,
one?
there's no action,
No.
like formal action from the council.
don't
We're
have
just
to-
looking for,
So we don't need a motion or
cons-
just?
yeah,
no.
just
Okay.
feedback.
Yeah.
So there's no objection, and the staff costs are explained in the staff report, $2,000 for staff time, and then $1,000 a year in maintenance.
yeah,
No objections.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Shakar, thank you.
Thank
We
you.
can make this like
Thank you.
a public awareness night.
You know how much I love the public. Okay. A second reading of ordinances numbers 302, or 392, 392 through 94. Will?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. I just want to since this is the second reading of the overlay ordinance, and this was a very long meeting, there was a lot that was discussed at the last meeting. I just want to clarify for the council and the public, the summary. I just want to summarize the changes from staff recommendations to what is now proposed in there. The ordinances, we have both a clean and a red line version to just kind of highlight those changes, but essentially the changes were as follows. The properties on Buena Mesa, as well as the property at 5th and L, were changed from Area 2 to Area 1. Douglas Street properties were removed from the overlay zone. Area 1 building height was reduced, or building height maximum was reduced from 3 stories to 2 stories, and Area 2 building height was reduced from 4 stories to 3 stories. And I wanted to, just one kind of point of clarification. I think because of all that discussion, I think one of the things that was missed is that this isn't actually an overlay zone. So that's actually in the name, but I don't know if we really vetted what that actually means. It means it's a secondary zoning to what's already there. So it's not replacing the zoning that was there. That zoning will still remain. It's just a secondary zoning. That means that a property can be either developed according to the existing zoning requirements or to the overlay zoning requirements to the area that it's assigned to. The property on 5th and L, for example, is zoned as residential low moderate, which allows 7 units to the acre and up to 3 stories. So even though the surrounding properties within the same zone are single story, they could be increased to 3 stories by right, assuming the structure meets all the requirements such as minimum setback and so forth. As long as it meets the requirements of the code, they can actually construct up to 3 stories. And I did see feedback out there that said that if we should limit it to 7 stories and or 7 to an acre, or 7 units to an acre and 1 story. And the reason this would make sense because the existing zoning, which still is there, allows the same density but up to 3 stories. So that I just wanted to clarify that. And thus the council's ultimate direction that staff interpreted was to match the underlying maximum heights for both the overlay zone and the underlying zone. And so that's why that made sense from a logical standpoint. The city doesn't initiate rezoning on its own. It's usually a request from the city if we wanted to rezone a property. And because if the city were to rezone something rather than do an overlay, especially one that's more restrictive, we would face an inverse condemnation challenge by that property owner. So obviously we can't just unilaterally change somebody's zoning to be more restrictive, but we certainly can do an overlay zone, which is what this does. So just wanted to clarify that. And as far as the public comment we got from Mr. Dickinson earlier tonight, I did want to give feedback on that. So staff's recommendation on that, so there's 2 ways you can do it. You could obviously make a modification to the which in this case is in segment 3, because that's originally what this was included in. However, that is problematic because the accompanying resolution has already been approved. So you would have to amend the general plan anyway to get it back into conformance with the zoning. So, and obviously this was a very contentious issue. We had a lot of people from Douglas Street come to the meeting. So staff's recommendation would be to have Mr. Dickinson, especially since it was analyzed as part of the overlay zone originally, he has the advantage of having already that been vetted through the EIR. So he's kind of in a unique position to be able to do that. Bring it back as an amendment to the overlay zone, so both the zoning code and the general plan. Then that would be subject to a public hearing process, so that would give also the opportunity for those homeowners to express their views on that as well. So it makes the process more transparent, and it also gives the applicant, in this case Mr. Dickinson, his due process as well, because it would be now his property specifically. he would be acting as the applicant, so he'd be able to present to council and show what he plans to do there. So I think it actually ends up being advantageous for both the property owner as well as the surrounding residents. So that would be staff's recommendation to approve as presented tonight for all three segments, and then have Mr. Dickinson follow that process in the future. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to recluse myself from number one and give this over to Ms. Hewitt.
I don't think there's any discussion on number one unless you guys have any more concerns.
I just wanted to make a comment. This is probably the most difficult agenda item we've had in quite a long time. I know it's taken a lot of staff time and a lot of council time, and of course, a lot of concern for the community. Excuse me. There's no way to make everybody happy all the time, but I think there's been, we've listened to all the comments that people have come forward with, and we've done our research as well to make sure that we're in compliance. And I think that what we ended up with at the last meeting is, as long as the meeting was and as complicated as it was, I thought we did a fairly good job in covering both the listening to residents as well as, God bless you, as well as trying to stay in compliance with the state. So I just wanted to make that comment. It was a lot of work put in by all of us, and we really appreciate the public coming forward and giving us their concerns, because you live here, we live here too. So the decisions we make, they affect us as well. So just wanted you all to know that we have taken that into consideration. We always do when we hear a council item, so I just wanted to reiterate that.
Any questions?
No questions. No
Can I get a
objections.
motion for
Is this-
8-1?
This is, yeah,
Ordinance number 392. Is there a motion to have second reading and adopt?
I'll move to adopt ordinance number 392.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the mayor can come back.
yep. Thank you, Deputy.
Well, so, actually, well, two things. There was a full-blown public hearing on this 2 weeks ago, and that public hearing has been closed. Also, part two is that the public gets one opportunity to speak, and you had an opportunity to speak already on this item.
Okay, we'll move to item number 2.
If there's no discussion, I'll go ahead and make the motion to conduct second reading by title only and adopt ordinance number 393, an ordinance of the City of Calimesa, California, approving segment number 2 of zone change 21-01 in connection with the adoption of the residential infill priority overlay zone, RIP AOZ, and the amendment of various sections of the zoning code, Title 18 of the Calimesa Municipal Code.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's a 4 with Mr. Manley abstaining. Okay, item number 3. Who wants to take it?
I'll take this one.
I'll move that we accept our ordinance number 394, ordinance of the City of Calimesa, approving segment number 3 of zone change 21-01 in connection with the adoption of the residential infill priority overlay zone and amendment of various sections of the zoning code, Title 18 of the Calimesa Municipal Code.
And so that would be a motion to adopt ordinance number 394.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
That would be 4-0. Okay, mayor and council members reporting of county and regional meetings, conferences. Linda?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We went to quite a few events in October. October 4th, attended 2 RTA committee meetings, admin and operations and budget and finance. Those were routine business taken care of. Attended the Calimesa State of the City at Mesa View, which was a great event. And I'm sure a lot of people came out and enjoyed it. It was a very warm day, but it was a very nice event, and staff worked very hard on that, and the chamber. On October 11th, attended an RCTC commission meeting, and the main subject was the draft 2024 traffic relief plan in concept. This is a plan, a regional plan for covering all modes of transportation and traffic relief. It's in the planning stages, and more information will be coming forward. There's actually an ad hoc committee meeting on the 23rd to continue discussion on this and how to bring it forward. On October 12th, attended the Banning State of the City event at Morongo. And on 10/12 that evening, attended the San Jacinto State of the City at Saboba. And so one of the things that is really great about the chambers and the State of the City events is it gives us an opportunity to meet with other council persons and communities to see what's going on in those cities. It gives the city a chance to do their best practices and what's going on great in their city, and sometimes what isn't. So attending these, I think, is of great benefit to the community because we could bring that information back. Okay, other meetings that I attended was on October 9th was Indigenous Day. The Lions Club puts out flags 10 times a year on a subscription basis. On October 9th, Riverside County Division Executive Committee meeting was held. And on October 13th, ribbon cutting at the Downright Brood facility was held, and I would say over 100 people went to that. It was very supportive. It's a family that has a condition. Let's see, let me put this correctly. They have focus on disabilities, and so I know we don't really talk about that much in our city, but that's something we should always be aware of in supporting organizations that take that into consideration. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, John.
Okay. So I also attended the State of the City, so thanks to staff for a wonderful event. That was great. I got some good feedback from members from both Yucaipa and Beaumont staff and council members who showed up. I talked to them and they said, what a creative, fun, informative event. So kudos to our staff, and it was a fun event, and to all those who participated, thanks to you all. RSO was there, our city fire, so thank you all. I also attended the ribbon cutting for Downright Brew. That was fun. Man, I'd never been to a ribbon cutting that had so many people. It was the biggest one I've attended in the city, so it was impressive, and it was great to have a new coffee shop in that location. Yeah. Just quickly have a update from my RCA meeting that was 2 weeks ago. Asked if I could delay that report, and so one thing that was covered was an update on Bill S466. That was, or excuse me, Bill S4669 that was introduced to the Senate by the late Senator Feinstein, and is now dead. Well, it died at the end of last Congress, but now probably with the passing of Senator Feinstein, it's probably permanently been killed unless someone else picks that up. And that was a bill to create a Western Riverside County National Wildlife Refuge, which would have been really good in this area. So maybe a next senator will pick up that cause, but we'll see. For now, it's died. And but we're seeking other funds, grant applications in a number of areas, and I'll keep you updated on whether or not those come through. And then finally, I was talking with Council Member Molina before that the executive director of RCTC and RCA has announced their retirement and mayor, and that it will be in the spring of 2024. And I think they'll actively start looking for a replacement next month, so also keep you updated on how that goes. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Wendy?
I did not have any WRCOG meetings. They're usually at the first part of the month, but I did attend the State of the City, and I wanted to mention that both our fire department and the county Riverside County Sheriff's Department, they came out in force. I mean, there were some pretty cool vehicles there. And I think a few people asked to climb the ladder, but they wouldn't let us, so. And then we were in that big tank. What was that thing? Looked like a tank. Sheriff. That was crazy.
Around the county, we got Lake Paris, we have plenty of other waterways out here. And so, yes, even in those depths, there's decompression management we have to do.
The kids really liked it. It was kind of neat. You could stand up on this little table and get your head out there. But it was cool. I want to thank staff. They did a really great job. And the Chamber of Commerce, they put together a really neat event. And hopefully we can continue something like this in the future. And then I did attend the ribbon cutting also of Downright Brewed. And I just wanted to mention, the family, if you go on their website, they tell their story about it. And they have a daughter that has Down syndrome. And so they're part of a family of people that have children that are disabled and have Down syndrome. And it's kind of cool. They wanted to have something. It says, we aspire to be more than just an espresso cafe. We aim to create an experience that fosters inclusivity and empowerment. And it's really cool. They have kids there that are working real hard. They're all very friendly. It was a great event. Like you said, there was so many people there that were just supporting them. And I encourage everybody to really support them at their espresso cafe. That's it. Thank you.
And I would like to thank the staff, especially our public works crew and everything in putting that together, for our State of the City. I know everybody worked hard, but they did an excellent job, and I thank them for it. Also, I want to compliment the sheriff on showing us all avenues of what you can support and what you can come out and furnish if needed. So, with that, I will turn it over to Will and see if he's got anything exciting to say.
I do have a couple of things. Thank you, Mayor. I too also want to echo my thanks for the staff here at State of the City. One of the things that I think people don't realize is the size of our staff. To pull out, we actually probably don't have any business in pulling off an event of that magnitude with the staff size that we have, but we did it anyway. And that goes to show the dedication and the hard work that every single one of us puts into the city every single day. And so when we do have any type of special event, whether it's State of the City or we have Trunk or Treat coming up on October 31st, Halloween at Summerwind Park, that'll also be all hands on deck. Because we literally need everybody we have there to help support the event, to help make it happen. So I'm not sure people realize that how much we get done with the little staff that we have. So it's just a testament to their effort. I do want to make an announcement. So Summerwind Commons, which is we considered the TFD last meeting, the retail portion of that, which is at the corner of New Roberts and Cherry Valley Boulevard, we can announce some of the tenants that are coming into the retail piece. Dutch Brothers, Chipotle, Kitty Academy, and Chevron have all signed in and are confirmed. And we expect vertical construction there at the site to start in March of '24. So they've also been challenged, as we have, with Edison issues, but I think it sounds like they might have gotten some of those worked out. So that's very good news. More retailers in that area and for the city. It's always good to see, and there will be more to come, but those are the ones that we know of so far. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Mayor, may I remembered something I wanted to add. Would you allow me to do so?
You're talking.
Thank you. I wanted to, we always have the opportunity to bring forward future items. I attended a Beaumont Chamber breakfast, and their guest speaker was a State Insurance Commission representative. And so there's new legislation on consumer protection and commercial protection as it relates to insurance companies. You've probably all heard a lot of insurance companies are not even issuing homeowner policies. And so I know there's some new legislation that happened on September 21st. I'm trying to get that information. But it would be nice that they offered that they would come to our city and make a presentation on just what those issues are. So I'd like to know if we can have them come to us and speak on those issues, commercial and residential insurance. Thank you.
I will approach our city manager on it. And with that, I'm going to adjourn this and let you all go home and not be bored any longer. Thank you for coming tonight.